When you sit down to pick a college major or apply for your first real job, you hear the same piece of advice repeated over and over. Make sure you have something to fall back on, defeat, making it much easier to eventually accept a life that is a fraction of what you are actually capable of living. Nelson Mandela observed this directly. He pointed out that there is zero passion to be found playing small, in settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living. Denzel Washington pushes this philosophy to its extreme. His alternative to the traditional safety net is to abandon it completely. If you are going to fall, you should not want to fall backward onto something comfortable. You should choose to fall forward. Without a net, you guarantee that you will at least see what you are going to hit. You transform a blind retreat into a calculated progression, using every stumble as momentum to push you further down the path. To adopt this philosophy, you have to accept an uncomfortable mathematical certainty. At some point, you will lose. You will embarrass yourself, and you will undoubtedly be terrible at something. There is a classic visual logic puzzle consisting of 9 dots arranged in a square. The goal is to connect all of them using only 5 straight, continuous lines. If you respect the perimeter of the grid, the geometry makes the task impossible. The solution only appears when you extend your lines into the empty space, where we are taught we aren't allowed to go. You have to be willing to ignore the boundaries that aren't actually there. The same logic applies to historical data. Reggie Jackson struck out 2,600 times during his career. That is the highest number of strikeouts in the history of baseball. Thomas Edison conducted 1,000 failed experiments before he successfully created the light bulb. Both men built their legacies on an immense, highly visible volume of public failure. People remember the home runs and the inventions, but those achievements only exist because of the thousands of misses. Every single unprotected, forward-falling failure acted as a necessary data point, pulling them closer to success. Washington's own timeline shows exactly how this works in practice. When he started at Fordham University, he lacked any sort of academic focus. This line chart shows his academic trajectory. He tried a course in cardiac morphogenesis for pre-med, couldn't pass it, and bounced to pre-law, then journalism. His grades steadily plummeted until he hit a 1.8 GPA, prompting the university to politely suggest he take some time off. Hitting this rock bottom forced a redirection. In March of 1975, at 20 years old, he found himself back in Mount Vernon, helping out at his mother's beauty shop. While working there, a town elder gave him a spiritual prophecy. She told him he was going to travel the world and speak to millions of people. It was the exact moment his academic collapse pointed him toward his true purpose as an actor. He spent the next few decades auditioning and failing. But there is an old saying that if you hang around the barbershop long enough, eventually you get a haircut. 30 years after bombing his first Broadway musical audition, he returned to the exact same venue, the Court Theater, to star in the play Fences. When you do not have a safety net to catch you, a catastrophic failure cannot trap you. It acts as the ultimate compass, revealing exactly which direction you actually need to go. The true cost of clinging to a safety net becomes clearest at the very end of your life. Imagine lying on your deathbed. Standing around that bed are the ghosts of your unfulfilled potential. These are the unused talents and the ideas you never acted on, looking back at you with anger and disappointment. The tragedy of these ghosts is that they represent a lost resource, not just for you, but for everyone else. Because you chose the comfort of a fallback plan, the unique value you were meant to provide now has to go to the grave forever. Your gifts, whether they are financial resources, medical skills, or simple kindness, are tools with a shelf life. If you don't use them, you are withholding a solution from a world that is in short supply of them. There are places facing extreme poverty in South Africa that desperately require the business acumen or the nursing skills that stay buried when we play it safe. That same need exists across the Middle East, in the dense urban societies of Japan, and in every local neighborhood in America. These places don't need you to be safe, they need you to be useful. The risks you take are an economic exchange with a world that needs what you have. Instead of trying to stay upright on a path you were never meant to walk, Let the weight of your mistakes carry you into the next attempt. When you fall, make sure you are falling forward.